teacher. My name is Amra Abdullah. My nickname is Ami. I was born in Bangkok. My birthday is on 11 January 1992. Now I am 20 years old. Start higher education in Mahanakhon University of Technology. My major is information science. I am in the fourth year. I hope I will finish it on next year. I live in Mainburi, so I have two brothers, and my hobby is reading some movies, listen music, and play badminton a little. Nothing to say, anything. Next, I reading a topic in my interesting. This topic is Ever's key as economy, environmental problems of developing nations. Society are producing more and more electronic goods, and therefore more and more electronic waste or e-waste. The United Nations Environment Program has released a report that warns of a dangerous rise in the amount of such waste, which is often simply dumped in developing countries, posing health hazards to residents. Every year, the world produces 40 million tons of electronic waste, from TVs to refrigerators to cell phones and computers, and this figure will only increase. For instance, by 2020, China is expected to throw away 7 times more cell phones than now, and India 18 times more. These high technology goods not only are bulky, they often contain toxic material such as lead and mercury. If the e-waste is not taken care of properly, it can cause pollution and health hazards. The Brain Cells Action Network is a private group focused on halting the trade in toxic goods, particularly waste goods. Executive Director Jim Perkins says the world needs to take urgent measures to end toxic trade. The industry has built in obsolescence Unfortunately, so we're seeing things become worse quicker than ever before. Perkins says computers now have a lifespan on about 2 years. Now in the north, many mobile phones are tuned over within 6 months when somebody wants to new race model. So we are creating a mountain and we're not going to stop people for consuming. So the first thing we need to do is to get the toxic material out of the equation. The issue of e-waste is one of several topics being discussed this week and the United Nations Program for Environment Conference is Nusa Dua, Indonesia. Achim Sterner, the agency Secretary General, said much of e-waste should be recycled. Beyond the environmental reasons, there is also an economic incentive. He says, for example, 3% of the gold and silver mined worldwide is used in personal computer and mobile phones. If you start investing and recycling and using this material, you actually begin to look at turning a problem into an opportunity. You start create jobs. You start reduce the amount of metal that leaves the cycle of our economy. You can reuse them. Strainer said, so those are our advantages if you begin to manage electronic waste, not as we see from industrialized countries to least developed countries without legislation. The Basel Convention is an international agreement setting global guidelines on handling e-waste, but it is not without weakness. The United States, the single largest producer of e-waste, has never ratified the convention. Also, e-waste has become a highly profitable illegal trade. Some companies get rid of their cash by exporting it to poor countries where, instead of being traced or recycled, it's piled up in landfills, and the toxic materials are leached out into water and soil. The problem today is compounded by the growing complexity of the trade. E-waste used to be produced by developed nations and then dumped in poor countries. But today, poor countries without recycling capacity export their e-waste to nations like China, and emerging economies are also increasingly net producers of e-waste. China, for example, has become the second largest producer after the United States. Electronic waste is more than an economical problem. It also affects the health of millions of people who make a living by stripping out the waste drums in their countries. Environmental experts say it will take new funds and manpower to solve the problem. By establishing safe recycling facility and curbing illegal export. Thank you, teachers.